Welcome back, and today we'll be talking about the plunger. It's going to be analog plunger turned into digital. This particular page had inspired me, and it's got all those sort of instructions of what to do and how to set one up. Love the plunger, so I went on a hunt to try and find it, and I found it here in the UK with this Pinball Mania. They have, I got a red one. This is just a black one. So I came across this website where it has a whole kit. Has the whole plunger, has the face. It would have the board that would connect the controller for it. So that would have the fader itself. So it's 175 Canadian dollars, which is about 102 pounds. So that is a little bit pricey for my range at the moment. I've decided that I'm just going to make one myself and not purchase one of these kits. Here we have quite a few selections of 3D prints that we can download and use. So as my friend has a 3D printer who has very kindly lent me, I have been printing some things off. And also we will definitely need this fader, and that will be part of the construction. And then we'll also need this KL25Z board, because that's where the accelerometer is, and that's where all the shaking and bumping of the ball would be. And also it controls that plunger. So yes, we definitely need this piece. Last night with my friend's borrowed 3D printer, I wasn't just making spaghettis, but I was making these brackets. So this is going to be for my plunger. There's a plunger stick goes in here, that sort of attaches here, and then this goes here and moves up and down. The long piece with the gutter, that's flipped the wrong way around, but this is approximately what it's going to be like. Oh yeah, check this out. So I'm drilling holes for this plunger. Here's the T-funny looking shape for the plunger. I use a 22 for the big hole and a 13 for all the other three little things. The plunger. Make sure the distance here is at least 7 centimeters, because you don't want the plunger and the receiver at the back when we mount it to clash. Because mine is not 7 centimeters and it is clashing. But then I do have a happy accident though, that you'll get to see quite shortly. So, look at that. So my fader has arrived. My KL25Z board has arrived. There's no pins on the board yet, so I'll still need to solder them on. So now that I've put it all together, I see that there is a problem. What's the problem? I will show you. It jumps off. So how would I fix this? So my solution was to build a wooden metal bracket. It's just pushing this against it. And also that this, if I can pull this off, see, I place some other little metal bits in to wedge it in, so I can only have this fader piece. Yeah, I have that nice and tight, because if it's loose, it just jumps out. So that's my solution of getting it nice and tight. Okay. So that's as secure as I've got. It hasn't jumped out since I have added those little notches in. In the end, I ended up drawing this up, all the measurements, and then for this actual hole, I actually changed diameter to 2 mils, 9 mils, and 9 mils. mils or 7 mils deep. And so this is what it looks like on the cell, which is a free CAD. It's very tricky to use the first time, but once you've sort of seen some YouTube videos and figured out how it works, it's pretty decent. So from there, I export to the slicer and then load this file. You can see the new hole in the gutter. And then I select my settings for the 3D printer, export the G code, and then go to print. It's done. Let's just peek this up. Nice bit of magnet plate. Nice circle. Quite clean this time. This my new hole size. That's going to fit in the slider or feeder. Let's install it. I just need to put these back together. You can see that this feed is actually just leaning on it. This is due to a happy accident where the receiver of the lockdown bar is actually in the way of this faceplate, you can see. And when I screwed it in, it's unable to go flat, so it has to sort of bend and curve towards the actual plunger, which is brilliant. It goes on. That is working brilliantly. It's time for some wiring. Here I have the wiring. You have a black on the single feet there. And with the 2 feet, you would have number 1, it's red, number 2 is purple, and that feeds into the KL25Z, goes onto this side, and the purple goes onto that last outside pin. I mean, the red, we'll talk about red. The red will go on to the 1, 2, 3, fourth one on the outside of the board, where this is pointing. And the black here actually runs into here. And then that runs into the black onto the board, which is the second one from the second set. Now for installing the software. If you go to the mgr.net.org, you get to this Pinscape resource, and this is where we'll get our control software. Because we don't have this big expansion board, we are only dealing with this KL25Z board. So we just go ahead and download this config tool. Click. Then we go back to the resource. We go back to the guide. And then we go to the hardware setup first. As you see that we need to put the pins in, which I have done, and the pins would have to be pointing up from the chip. The only reason why we'll probably do it reverse with the chips coming from the bottom is that this would then insert into this Pinscape board. It's a proprietary thing, which is pretty cool if you want to spend a bit more money and get a lot more toys connected to it. We go to the software, which we had downloaded, which is also here. We then just follow the instruction. So I would recommend just plugging both of these ports. So once that is connected, we can then run the config tool. Let's go to the pinball table and install that. Now we're on the pinball machine. We're on the main screen, so we grab that file, the config file. And once we've done that, we need to extract the file. As I have one installation ready, I'm just going to make a second one here. Now that we have our tool running, we can go to the setup, and then we choose the KL25Z board, and there's lots of other options as you see. So if you're interested, you can go and research that and maybe purchase that. And you click on to the program, and then you go through the settings, and you'll see the first one, just number 1, we should have one of them. And also here, we select 1 because we only have one board. Make sure we tick on the joystick, then because that would help for the buttons and the rest of the config. And then we go to the orientation of the KL25Z board, and this is how I placed it. You would also need to do this auto centering. I have it manual at the moment, but you should put it on auto just for the first few days possibly, and then you can set it to manual if you like later. The plunger sensor setup needs to be set to the pedometer because the fader is a pedometer. Next thing we need to do is to calibrate the plunger. So what we do here is we press the button and then we pull on our plunger like all the way and let go, all the way, let go, like we're going to be playing. If this part's not working for you, then you'll probably have to revisit your wiring and see has anything gone wrong there. Each time we're done with calibrations, we need to click on that button and to confirm it, so then it would actually program all the new settings into the KL25Z board. And if we scroll down further, we'll see other button inputs. I'm not using these at the moment because my button inputs would be the zero delay board, which just plugs in independently. Later I could connect all the other buttons and solenoid toys and everything to the KL25Z board. And that's it, we finally have finished setting up the plunger. Well done! I possibly should have done the video about the computer setup first, but I got too excited for the plunger. Anyway, now that we're complete with that, you'll probably need to wait for the next episode where we'll be setting up the whole computer with the software and running the pinball table games and everything. Anyway, stay tuned, and we're getting so close. And thanks for watching.